David Branch is here. Hi, David.
How's it going, Luke?
I'm doing quite well. Hey, man, so we talked, I don't know, a few months ago, right, on my radio show. You were trying to get that Jacare fight, and it just didn't go your way. So how are you feeling, 5 days out now from your fight?
I'm excited to fight again. The objective is still the same: crush, kill, destroy. And at this point in my life right now, and the things that I've been through in MMA, it's just give me my fucking opponent, and then give me my hand wraps and my gloves, and let me go do my job so I can get back to my family after I'm done taking care of business.
David, if I can, is there any way I can get you to take the phone off speaker? Is that possible at all?
I got you, Luke. Sorry.
Hey, there he is. You sound great. Okay. All right, man. But so let's walk through what happened. So you, as I mentioned, you had the Jacare fight. Boom, it was locked in. Luke Rockhold gets injured. What happened between then and how you ended up getting the Jared Cannonier fight?
I think that they understand. I don't know really what happened with the situation. I was teaching class actually the day that I found out, and just normal routine, going through teaching my class and stuff like that. I think I was teaching the beginner class, or the beginner class was about to start, and then one of my students walked in and said, he said, "Hey man, did you know that Luke Rockhold got hurt?" And then I go, "Oh, he did?" And then I said, oh shit. And then I go, "Oh man." And I said, "Oh man, I know what's gonna happen." And then I said, if I get to my phone and I get a call by my manager or one of my cornermen, then I know what happened. And I did, and it was a missed call. And it was easy for me to put things together. I understand why. I'm a veteran of the sport. Luckily, the organization was able to, call somebody up. Jared Cannonier, he responded to the call, and that's what we got next.
So, okay, a couple things here. Let's go through this. Why did you suspect it might have been you that was going to lose the fight? Why not somebody else? Why not Israel Adesanya or whoever?
Because it just makes sense, Luke. From a business point of view, if I was a promoter, I'm going to want to keep on one of the people that my show was kind of pushing. They were kind of pushing the Luke Rockhold fight with, in conjunction with the Cormier Derek Lewis fight. And I'd want to keep on one of those people that I kind of like co-mained. And I guess they're going to just boost up one of the other fighters that are like, closer up in that rank. I guess that's what it was, I'm not too sure, if Chris was asked to fight me or something like that, or anything like that. I've made it public before that I'm not interested in fighting him. Especially, not for, something like that, if that wasn't the case. I think that it was a situation where they asked the Jacare camp and his handlers, would they want to take the opportunity to jump up? And I think they see that it was probably better for them, politically wise, for like numbers and rankings and stuff like that. I don't think anybody was scared or anything like that. And it just happened, I got a phone call from my management, and they were trying to save me on the card. I explained to them that I worked really hard, and it's been like about a 19-week camp. I've trained as hard and smart as I possibly could. And I actually got a phone call from Dana. He was actually nice enough to reach out to me himself. And he explained to me that it's fucked up, kid. And, we'll get you a fucking fight, and you do what you got to do this one. And we'll get you in there with some fucking killers that'll move you forward. And I was just like, okay, I'm going to do what I have to do so that we can, honor these things that were said. And that's it.
And for folks who may not realize, the Weidman thing you don't want to do because you guys both have that Henzo affiliation, right?
Yeah, I just know him. I know him. I like the guy. You know what I mean? I don't want to, put those kind of negative intentions on somebody that I know. It's it's a very difficult situation. It's not something that I'm faced with right now, and it's not something that I'd even want to get into, because it's not birth. It's not real right now, and I'm glad that we weren't faced with that situation where it was something that was just like, hey man, which one of you boys wants it the most, and I'm glad it wasn't a situation like that. Jacare was available to take the fight. That's somebody that I still do want to fight in the future, along with other people that I would still like to fight. It's just not something that's in the cards right now. I have a very tough opponent in front of me right now, very durable opponent, and he's coming down in weight for his first middleweight debut. And I'm looking to do business with him.
All right, so we'll get to that in just a second. Let me. Well, actually, you know what? Let me ask you about him. That you bring him up. I'll pivot to that. What do you make of Jared Cannonier?
He's a tough guy. Tough kickboxer. He's got he's got skills all over the place, like everybody needs to. I just think that technically wise, I'm a lot better. I'm not saying that being arrogant or anything like that. I think that's what it is, and I'm going to look to take advantage of that. I'm going to start fast, and I have the condition to stay on top of this thing the whole time. I'm gonna push the issue. I mean, in my fight with Jacare, that was one of my game plans. It was my game plan to. That's it. That is my game plan, to go out there and put the fucking heat on everybody. You know what I mean? And just not let up. And it's just a wild creature that you have to deal with for as long as the time duration permits. And if you make it, you make it. And if I fucking fall on a banana peel in the process, hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't see that happening. Because I'm a very cerebral person. Then that's what they have to deal with.
So what's interesting to me is you said you had a roughly a 19-week camp. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
19 weeks. Hey, man, that is a long time. How do you even have a camp for 19 weeks without burnout or injury or something else? Give me the story there.
Okay, I peaked once. I peaked really fast, actually. I peaked once, and the camp, I had some really good professional people that were in my camp this time, and one of my guys named Greg, and he has been helping me with like my body and stuff like that, getting me all fixed up to somebody that I'm going to be using in the future. And he told me, he said, "Look, man, you're overworking." And I was just so obsessed. I have serious OCD, and I was like really obsessed with like just going out there and like putting on a flawless victory and just complete domination of Jacare. So I deemed that it would take that many weeks to be able to do something like that, because in order for me to call on my skill set at will during that kind of intense kind of competition, I know that I would have needed to train a lot, and I know that my conditioning would have to be peak. So I trained like an animal, and I ate like one, and I knew I'd be ready for something like that,
Man, that is I've never heard of that before. So let me just play devil's advocate if I can. David, you're a vet, you're a pro. This is not your first rodeo for sure. So I have no reason to question you. But if I was thinking out loud, I'd say, well, how do you know? How do you know you're not overtrained?
Based on my movements and like people who best professional movements and like like high quality athletic movements and me knowing my body and where I'm at and my snappiness, my strength, my where my mind is right now. I'm ready to fight, man. I'm really ready to fight, and I'm going to go in there and do what I have to do, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm not going to be nice to anybody that I go in there with, I want to, like my boy Justin Willis says, I'd like to apologize ahead of time to any one of my opponents, because my intentions are not set well for you. And I'm not going to talk any smack. I'm not going to say that you're not this, you're not that, you're scared. I'm just going to go in there, I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to do it well. And that's it.
So let's say you do, right? You go in there and Saturday goes about how you expect it to go. How does 2019 go?
However the UFC wants it to go. I'm just a cog in the system, man, and I'm not an entitled brat. I think that, me doing what I have to do in a certain fashion with this fight should definitely make a statement to the UFC. It should make a statement to the rest of my division. It's God, I haven't already made one already, but that's what I am, man. I'm just a soldier, man. That's what I do, and I've learned to not expect anything as a fighter, but just to always be ready. And my job as a martial artist is to make sure that my skills are always ready and sharp as they fucking possibly can be. And that is the only thing that I'm in control of. I'm not in control of title shots. I'm not in control of rankings. I'm not in control of any of these things. The only thing that I'm in control of is being in there and being a fucking deadly weapon. That's my job, and that's what I focus on. And I'll let the UFC focus on the rest with my management.
For sure, and you're a pro, so that's the kind of attitude one would expect from a pro. I guess what I'm sort of curious about is, like, are you happy with your predicament? Because you're still on the main card, right? There is some value there.
Mm-hmm.
So are you?
Am I happy with it? I mean, I'm not happy that I didn't get to fight the person that I really wanted to fight, because that's who I really wanted to fight. But I'm happy that I'm still on the card, and I've made the mental switch necessary, and I've gone through the mental preparation and the switch to be able to now switch my intentions to this man, Jared, and now he is next, and that is it.
So you said you still want to fight Jacare down the road. If this Saturday goes your way against Jared Cannonier and he wins, is that the next appropriate bout to make?
That would be the next appropriate bout to make, yes. I would, in my opinion, it would be, but I don't know. Like, again, I'm not entitled to anything,
Yeah.
And I don't have any control of these things. But if they ask me, what do you want? That would be my answer, and that would be what I want.
Do you, you made that.
What that fight does for me in the future would be based on what the UFC wants.
Fair enough. You made that one interesting video with all of your jiu-jitsu, I think it was one of your classes, and they were all making like the gator mouth. Are you still planning on doing those kinds of things, or how do you feel about actively lobbying further in your career?
I mean, I'm at a point right now, and, I'm really humble, Luke. I'm a very humble person. I try not to be a narcissistic fuck. And it's very difficult to be, and it's very easy to be, as a fighter, because, the attention does feel good at a certain point. But I'm a normal fucking person, just like you and everybody else. And I'm not special. I don't feel that, like, I need to do certain things like that based on my resume, man. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, and I just hate, like, having to reiterate shit that I did and go back and start bringing out profiles and shit like that, because everybody's done something, you know what I mean? And just, God damn it, just fucking recognize what I've done, and I don't think that I should have to do fucking monkey shines to fucking get a fucking good fight, you know what I mean? I'm a great fighter, and just act like That's it's one of those things, like, when I was in certain locations, when I would, or when I was a kid, and I would, act a certain way to an adult or a man. I'd actually run across a real man, and I would get beside myself. He'd look at me and say, "Act like you fucking know." And I'd have to, like, look, and I'd be like, "Shit, well, I do understand that I'm a fucking small child, and this is a grown man. I need to act like I know." And I think that at a certain point, I think that, other people need to just act like they know, man, and just let up off the bullshit, man. You know who's a good fighter and you know who's not. And I don't need to go through a fucking bunch of shit to fucking say who I am. And I've done what I've done. And hopefully that's just good enough. And hopefully people can act like they know. That's it.
Well, I think that's more than a fair request. David, I'm sorry that you lost the fight you were scheduled to get. But with a 19-week camp, man, that is quite a gas tank to have for Saturday when you take on Jared Cannonier on the main card of UFC 230. You paid your dues. If Saturday goes your way, man, I hope 2019 is the year you've been looking for, and we really appreciate your time here on the show.
Thank you, Luke. You're the best, man. I appreciate that, brother.
Appreciate you as well.